Now listen, let me tell you something, and I want you to really hear me. When a man loves you like crazy, it ain't by accident. It ain't luck. It's not just because you look good or you showed up at the right time. No, it's deeper than that. A man falls deeply, almost uncontrollably in love when he finds peace in you, and that kind of peace is rare. See, the world he lives in is already loud, demanding, and full of pressure. Every single day he's dealing with expectations, competition, stress, and silent battles nobody even knows about. He's constantly trying to prove himself, to build something, to become something, and that takes a toll on him mentally and emotionally. So when he comes around you and suddenly feels calm instead of chaos, that's when something shifts inside him. You become the place where he can finally breathe. It's not about you doing anything extraordinary on the outside. It's the way you make him feel when he's around you. He doesn't feel judged. He doesn't feel like he has to perform. And he doesn't feel like he's failing. Instead, he feels accepted. That kind of emotional safety is powerful. When a man realizes that being with you brings him peace instead of pressure, he starts attaching to you in a way he doesn't even fully understand. Most people don't realize this, but men value peace more than anything in a relationship. It's not always about excitement or drama or constant attention. A man can find excitement anywhere, but peace, that's rare. And once he finds it in you, he starts protecting it. He starts prioritizing you because you've become his escape from everything that drains him. When he's with you, he doesn't feel like he has to fight. He doesn't feel like he has to explain himself over and over again. He can just be, and that feeling of, I can just be myself here, is what makes him stay longer, try harder, and love deeper. You become the one place where his guard can come down without fear. And once a man connects your presence with that level of calm and comfort, he's not letting go easily. Because in his mind, losing you means going back to a world where he feels pressure all the time. That's why he starts loving you like crazy, not because you forced it, not because you chased it, but because you gave him something he couldn't find anywhere else. Genuine peace. Respect is one of the deepest emotional needs a man has, and when you give it to him in a genuine way, it creates a connection that goes far beyond surface level attraction. A lot of people think love is what holds a relationship together, but for a man, respect is what makes that love stay strong. When he feels respected by you, it touches something inside him that makes him want to invest more, give more, and stay committed in a real way. It's not about agreeing with everything he says or lowering yourself to make him feel bigger. Real respect shows up in how you speak to him, especially when you're upset. It's in the way you listen without immediately trying to tear him down or prove him wrong. It's in how you acknowledge his efforts, even when he's not perfect. When a man feels like the woman he cares about sees him as valuable, capable, and worthy, it builds his confidence in a way that no outside validation can. A man is constantly being challenged by the world around him. People doubt him, compare him, and sometimes even dismiss him. So when he comes to you and feels supported instead of criticized, it creates a powerful emotional bond. You become the one person he can trust not to belittle him when he's vulnerable. That kind of trust is not easy to earn, and once it's there, it makes him hold on even tighter. Respect also means you don't try to control or change him into someone he's not. You allow him to grow at his own pace while still encouraging him to be better. When he sees that you're not competing with him but standing beside him, it changes how he sees the relationship. It becomes a partnership instead of a struggle. And here's the truth a lot of people overlook. A man will go above and beyond for the woman who respects him. He will protect her, provide for her, and stand by her because he feels honored in her presence. It's not forced, it's natural. That respect fuels his actions and deepens his emotional connection. So when he loves you like crazy, it's often because you gave him something he doesn't find everywhere. You treated him with dignity, spoke to him with care, and made him feel like he mattered. And once a man feels that level of respect from you, walking away becomes one of the hardest things he could ever do. One of the deepest reasons a man ends up loving you like crazy is because you believed in him before the results showed up. You didn't wait until he had everything figured out, until he became successful, confident, or fully established. You saw something in him early on, something real, something powerful, even when it was still just potential. And that kind of belief hits a man on a level that's hard to describe. See, most people judge a man based on what he has already achieved. They look at his current situation and decide his worth from that. But you looked beyond where he was and focused on where he could go. You saw his drive, his ideas, his effort, even when things weren't perfect. That told him something important, that you weren't just there for the finished product, you were there for the journey. That kind of support builds something strong inside a man. When he knows there's someone in his corner who truly believes in him, it pushes him to work harder, to aim higher, and to become the man he's capable of being. You become part of his motivation, not because you pressured him, but because you inspired him. And here's what makes it even deeper. You didn't just say you believed in him. You showed it through your actions. You encouraged him when he doubted himself. You stood by him when things didn't go his way. You didn't walk away when progress was slow. That consistency creates trust, and trust turns into emotional attachment. A man never forgets who supported him when he was still building, because in his mind, you didn't just love him for what he could give you, you loved him for who he was becoming. That's rare, and when something is rare, it becomes valuable. Over time, he starts associating his growth with your presence. Every step forward, every small win, every improvement, you were there. That connection makes his feelings stronger because you're not just part of his life, you're part of his progress. And when a man feels like you see greatness in him, even during moments when he struggles to see it himself, it creates a deep emotional bond. He starts thinking, if she believes in me like this, I can't let her go. That thought alone is enough to make him love you harder, protect the relationship more, and stay committed in a way that goes beyond words. There's something powerful about being real in a world where most people are pretending, and that's exactly why he loves you the way he does. You didn't come into his life wearing a mask, trying to impress him with a version of yourself that isn't true. You showed up as you are, with your natural personality, your honest emotions, your strengths, and even your flaws. And that authenticity is what made you stand out from everyone else he's ever met. A lot of people try too hard in relationships. They say what they think the other person wants to hear. They act a certain way to gain approval. And over time, it becomes exhausting and unsustainable. But with you, it felt different from the beginning. He didn't have to question who you were or what your intentions were because you were consistent. What he saw is what he got, and that kind of clarity gave him a sense of comfort. When a man is around someone who is truly authentic, it allows him to relax and be himself too. He doesn't feel like he has to impress you every second or live up to some unrealistic image. Instead, he feels accepted for who he is, not just for what he can offer. That creates a deeper emotional connection because it removes the pressure and replaces it with honesty. Your laugh wasn't forced, your words weren't calculated, and your presence wasn't based on trying to compete with anyone else. You didn't compare yourself or try to outshine others. You stayed in your own lane, and that confidence in being yourself is incredibly attractive. It shows strength without arrogance and vulnerability without weakness. Even your imperfections played a role. The little things that make you human, the moments where you're not perfect, those are the things that made him feel closer to you. Because perfection can feel distant, but realness feels relatable. It makes the connection stronger because it's built on truth, not illusion. As Steve Harvey would say in his own way, a man recognizes when something is genuine, and once he finds it, he holds on to it. That's exactly what happened here. You gave him something he didn't have to question or doubt. And over time, that authenticity became one of the main reasons he fell so deeply, because he knows with you what he feels is real, what he sees is real, and what you share together is something he can trust. A man loves deeply when he feels needed, not used, and that difference is everything. A lot of relationships fail because a man starts to feel like he's only there to fill a role, to provide something, to solve problems, or to meet expectations without truly being valued as a person. But with you, it never felt like that. You didn't treat him like a tool or a convenience. You made him feel like he mattered. There's something inside a man that naturally wants to contribute. He wants to feel like he's making your life better in some way. It doesn't always have to be big things. Sometimes it's just being there for you, helping you through a tough moment, or knowing that his presence brings you comfort. When he feels that what he does actually means something to you, it gives him a sense of purpose. You didn't take his efforts for granted. When he showed up for you, you noticed. When he tried, you appreciated it. That appreciation goes a long way because it tells him that his role in your life is important. It motivates him to keep giving, not out of pressure, but because he wants to. At the same time, you didn't depend on him in a way that felt heavy or overwhelming. You had your own strength, your own independence, but you still allowed space for him to step in and be there for you. That balance is rare. It made him feel needed without feeling trapped. When a man feels like he adds value to your life, he becomes emotionally invested. He starts thinking about how to protect what you have, how to grow it, how to make it even better. That's when his love becomes deeper and more intentional. As Steve Harvey often emphasizes in his advice, a man needs to feel like he has a purpose in a woman's life. And when you give him that feeling in a genuine way, it creates a bond that's hard to break. That's why he loves you the way he does, because with you, he's not just present, he's meaningful. What truly sets you apart and why he loves you so deeply is that you didn't disappear when things got hard. Anybody can be there when life is easy, when everything is going right, when the energy is good and the connection feels effortless. But the real test of love shows up in difficult moments, and that's where you proved your value in his life. When he faced challenges, whether it was stress, failure, confusion, or even moments where he wasn't at his best, you didn't turn away from him. You didn't make him feel like he had to handle everything alone. Instead, you stayed. And that kind of presence sends a powerful message to a man. It tells him that your connection isn't conditional, that it's not based only on what he can provide or how perfect he can be. A lot of men are used to people walking away the moment things become complicated. They're used to being supported only when they're strong and successful. So when you stood by him during his weaker moments, it created a level of trust that goes far beyond surface feelings. He started to see you as someone reliable, someone he could lean on without fear of being judged or abandoned. You didn't try to fix everything for him or control his situation. You simply offered your support, your understanding, and your patience. That allowed him to process things in his own way while still feeling like he wasn't alone. That balance is powerful because it respects his independence while still giving him emotional security. Over time, those moments build something unbreakable. He remembers who was there when he felt lost, who listened when he needed to talk, and who stayed quiet when he just needed space. Those memories don't fade easily. They become the foundation of how he sees you and the relationship. As Steve Harvey often expresses in his own style, a man never forgets the woman who stood beside him when he had nothing to offer but himself.